Hey guys, it's me, Hellhound, and I guess I'm going to start doing trailer reactions on here. This will be my second one, actually, ever. I previously gave my reaction to the upcoming Cult of Chucky, which will be the seventh film in the Child's Play franchise, so check that out if you haven't already. Yeah, Cult of Chucky, it looks really good. And I just saw the trailer for Leatherface, which is actually a prequel to the original 1974 masterpiece directed by Tobe Hooper. Now, the thing is, this will be the eighth installment overall, and the thing you gotta know is, like, every single sequel, ever since the 1974 movie, every sequel that came out after that ignored the other sequels and, like, was its own sequel. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 from 1986, which I freaking love. That was a perfect follow-up, in my opinion. That was the true sequel, and that one had the best continuity, I think. Then we had Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, which ignored Part 2, basically, more or less, except for some nods here and there, like this chainsaw saying saw his family, which is a line that Drayton, the oldest brother, said in the first movie, and a few other references. And then, of course, there was the god-awful Texas Chainsaw Massacre The Next Generation, which likewise ignored Parts 2 and 3, and kind of seemed more like a remake of the first movie, with, very little connections to the actual movie. I hate that film, I'm sorry. But then, of course, there was the remake in 2003, and the remake had a prequel a few years later, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, which took place before the events of the 2003 film. Both these movies ignored the original, of course, which I don't care for. I'm not a remake fan at all, so I didn't really care for those. But I thought they weren't too bad. They could have been better. They're entertaining, and R. Lee Ermey is great, as always, as Sheriff Hoyt. And Andrew Bryniarski played a good Leatherface. Not as good as Gunnar Hansen or R.A. Mihailoff from the third film, who's my second favorite Leatherface. But he got the job done. And so, yeah, that movie was a prequel, but it really didn't explain the origin of Leatherface. It didn't really tell how his family came to be. A little bit. Like, it explained how they became cannibals, explained where Leatherface came from, but it just felt like a rehash of the first movie. Like, it just felt like they made the first movie again. Like, there's like maybe 10 minutes at the beginning that gave the backstory, which again wasn't really very well done. And again, I don't care for either one of those movies. Then Texas Chainsaw 3D came along, which was a direct sequel to the original film. Again, ignoring all the other sequels, ignoring the remake and its prequel. So so the continuity is all over the place. It's a mess. It's worse than the X-Men movies. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre series has been pretty bad overall. I love the first movie. It's a flawless masterpiece, horror perfection, and I love the sequel. It's more of a horror comedy, very entertaining, very fun to watch. Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 is okay. It's pretty good, and the rest of them I don't really care for. I appreciated Texas Chainsaw 3D for bringing back the continuity of the original series. That was set in present day, many years after the first movie, but there's all kinds of continuity errors. The timeline didn't add up. The main girl should have been like 39, but instead she was like a teenager, which didn't make sense because she was a baby in 1974, and now it's 2013. Didn't make any sense. I thought Dan Yeager played a good older Leatherface, and there were some things I liked about it. But anyway, we're at the 3-minute mark, and I haven't mentioned the trailer to the newest film, Leatherface, coming out later this year. Now, this one's a prequel to the original movie. It doesn't follow any of the other sequels. I'm not sure if it's going to be in continuity with Texas Chainsaw 3D or not. I kind of hope not, because that movie, again, I appreciate what they did. I respect it. I admire that they brought the old continuity back, especially after it was remade, which doesn't happen often. Maybe in Romero's Dead series. Rest in peace, Romero, recently. But it was kind of a mess, and it could have been a lot better. I'd love a prequel. I'd love to see the original family, Leatherface, the hitchhiker, Drayton. We haven't seen them, and the grandpa, who's barely alive. We haven't seen them in years. They always have a new family each time. They always have like a bunch of old fat women and annoying little kids. I just want to see the trio of brothers and their old dying grandpa, and maybe like a few corpses here and there, like the first movie. And the second movie, they had grandmas and aunts that were like corpses. They had dead bodies all over their house and their little underground lair. Now, I'd love for this movie to fit in with the second movie as well, like maybe have a young Chop Top. I'd love to see all these characters, like younger versions, when they were brothers and they were first starting out, and like if they were, became cannibals. But I feel like it's not going to do that. I feel it's going to be a very loose continuity. It's not going to have enough ties with the original. Like, it makes sense. Anyway, my reaction to the trailer, it doesn't really give away much. There's not really much going on. There's barely any dialogue. They're just playing this really eerie song, well, we see different clips. We see Leatherface first get his, cut somebody's face off, stitch it together, and first get his face. He wears a mask made of human skin. I think Sam Strike is playing Leatherface this time, and they renamed him Jackson Sawyer. He was Jedediah Sawyer in Texas Chainsaw 3D, and before that, in the first movie they just referred to him as Leatherface. In the second movie they called him Bubba Sawyer, which Bubba was probably a nickname. In the third movie they called him Junior, and so on and so on. So he's had so many different names. Who knows what his real name is? I guess it's Jackson now because they keep rewriting it. They keep changing the name, but he's Leatherface. That's the important thing. I'd love to see a young Leatherface, a young Hitchhiker, and a young Drayton. We did see Drayton, played by Bill Moseley, who played Chop Top in Part 2. We saw Drayton in Texas Chainsaw 3D, and the Hitchhiker in archive footage from the first movie. But I'd love to see younger versions of characters. Apparently, the Hitchhiker is in it. Nubbin Sawyer. That's what they called. That's what Chop Top called the corpse that they carried around in Part 2. The corpse is his twin brother, the Hitchhiker. They're twins, Chop Top and the Hitchhiker. They referred to him as Nubbin. So Nubbin Sawyer is in this one, so I guess it is Leatherface and the Hitchhiker. I don't know if Drayton's been cast yet. I was reading a lot about this movie when it was first announced, it was first in pre-production stuff, but now it's actually coming. I gave up on it because, for years, I didn't hear anything new about it. It felt like it was never happening, but now we just, out of nowhere, we get this trailer. Then again, I haven't been keeping up with it, but I used to talk about it with other horror fans on IMDb and all that, and, now it's finally almost here, so... again, the trailer didn't give much away. We heard the revving of the chainsaw. We saw Leatherface standing with a chainsaw in the shadows and darkness. There's, a girl walking up to the Sawyer house, and, a barn. There's a horse in it. Then we see, there's a classroom, a girl or somebody stabs somebody. I don't know. Is Leatherface a kid and he's in school in this one? That'd be fine. But I read the premise, and he says, he escapes from a mental asylum with other patients and takes this girl on a ride, on a hell ride, like it's a travel movie, like they're in a car. Now the trailer didn't really look like that. But again, the trailer gave away nothing. It was a little over a minute long. It really didn't give away. You really can't tell what kind of movie it was from this trailer. It was even more vague than the Cult of Chucky trailer, which gave a lot more away than this one did. It's that kind of trailer. I couldn't really tell, but you can tell there's going to be some blood and gore. It's going to be gory. The original wasn't really gory. It was so effective without using blood and gore. But I don't mind that they're putting a little gore in it. It's going to differ from the original. But I really want some strong connections. I want some strong ties of the 1974 movie. I want it to feel like I can watch this one. I can watch the original right after it, and it'll fit together really well. That would be awesome. I'd love to see a young version of the cannibalistic family, the Sawyer clan. The mad, maniacal butchers that kill and eat people, Leatherface, first getting his chainsaw, first getting his face, which I think we're going to see. But, where's Drayton? I don't know if he's been cast yet. It doesn't look like he's in the cast list on IMDb. I need to research it a little more. So it's really hard to tell what kind of movie this is going to be. With Cult of Chucky, the trailer, you could tell it's probably going to be a good movie. With this one, again, it's pretty vague. There wasn't really much in the trailer. Maybe there will be another trailer later on. I also didn't check the release date. I don't know when it's coming out, so I guess I missed that. I wasn't paying attention to something. But I do have kind of high hopes for it. It is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and that'd be great if we had another one that was as good as the first two movies. That'd be so great. I'm so glad that they went back to the original continuity after it had been remade. Again, Texas Chainsaw 3D wasn't too good. It could have been a lot better. It had its strong points, and it had the right idea. They just didn't execute it properly. The remake probably was a better movie, but I have more respect for Texas Chainsaw 3D because it brought back the original continuity. Why would I want to watch a movie that pretends like the original doesn't exist, like the remake and its prequel do? No thanks. And again, aside from Arlie Ermy and Andrew Braniarski, those movies weren't I hated the rest of the family. They had some, they got the old guy in the wheelchair, some old woman, annoying kids, just a bunch of annoying, stupid, inbred people who you just look like they belong in a freak show and just aren't charismatic in the least. Not all like the original family. Drayton Sawyer played by the cook, played by Jim Saito, and Hitchhiker played by Edwin Neal, Chop Top played by Bill Moseley. Of course, the original Leatherface, Gunnar Hansen. Bill Johnson did a good job in the second movie, but I think R.A. Mihailov was awesome in the third movie, Leatherface, which has a similar title to this upcoming movie. They just called it I guess I'm glad they're not using the Texas Chainsaw title again, but whatever. I don't know. I remember when the prequel to the remake was first coming out, they were calling it Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Origin, which I thought that was way better, but it really didn't. Again, it didn't really give too much of an origin, just a very brief summary of what happened, what led up to it, and then the rest of the movie was just yet another story, very similar to the first. I hope this one doesn't do that. But it looks like it'll be very different. There's so much they can do with this formula, but it seems like they play it too safe. They do kind of the same movie each time. Like, a bunch of people get stranded, they get trapped, and they encounter the family, and then they get killed and eaten. And like, there's so much more you can do with this family. They're very interesting characters, and I like the original clan. Again, I like the three brothers. The dying grandpa, and like whoever else. All the corpses. That'd be cool to see the grandpa in this movie, like actually being healthy and alive. He'd still be pretty old, I guess, but well, this one had to take place in like the 50s or 60s, because it was before 1974. So I hope they don't screw that up somehow. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of expectations for this movie. Like, there's a lot of things they have to get right. I think I'm very passionate about the Texas Chainsaw movies. Leatherface is like one of my favorite slasher villains. It's one of my favorite franchises, despite all the a lot of crappy entries, really. But yeah, I got some expectations. I've got some standards, and but yeah, I want to have a good time. I want it to be entertaining. I know it's not going to be as sophisticated as the original. Probably won't be as fun as the second film. Every horror movie these days has to be extremely serious. They're like that in the 70s, but like they still had an edge to them. They're just something missing from today's horror movies. I don't know. There's lacking the charm. They're lacking the heart. But yeah, I mean, it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I will see it, regardless, and I'm sure I'll have a good time. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. Hopefully, again, the trailer, you can't really tell what kind of movie it's going to be. You can't tell if it's going to be good or bad. It's very vague, but well, that's my reaction. I can't really tell, but from what I've read, I've got some hopes, and there's some things I don't care for. There's some things I do kind of worry about that they're going to screw up. But again, I guess, Nubbins, the hitchhiker's in it, so that's good. It'd be great to see that character again. I'd love to see the original family, younger and like, when they first became killers. What inspired them to become, maniacal cannibals? I mean, that'd be so great. Why are they so deranged? I'd love to see a story, but I feel like I'm not going to get that. Like, I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about these modern horror movies. But again, they're going back to the original continuity, so that's great. It's a prequel to the original movie. I wish the Friday the 13th series and the Halloween series would do that. Apparently the next Halloween movie is going to have Jared Carpenter involved, so hopefully it'll follow the original continuity. I'm not sure where they'd start. I mean, after the second film, or after the sixth film, after the eighth film, hopefully not after the Rob Zombie films. But yeah, I don't know where they're going to start with that one, so... that one I kind of would like, just a loose continuity. Make it another Michael Myers movie and don't really, be kind of vague, don't really have any, strict continuity. However, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I want the continuity, because that's been a huge problem with the series, like lack of continuity, so that'd be great. So hopefully this will be a worthy prequel. Hopefully it'll be better than Texas Chainsaw 3D. Hopefully be better than most of the sequels we got. I know it'll be better than Next Generation. I could make a better movie than a sock puppet in a video camera, but freaking Leatherface yelping and dancing around. Ugh. But all right, guys. Well, that's my reaction of the upcoming Leatherface, the prequel to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, coming this year, 2017. Let me know what you thought of the trailer in the comments below, and let me know your thoughts of the upcoming movie. Hopefully it'll be good. Here's to hoping. Alright guys, Hellhound, keep it horror.